You know, Charles, I don't believe a word of it. This whole bubonic plague nonsense. The Black Death, they're calling it now. So melodramatic. You know what I heard? You know that Gromit lives up on Wentworth Castle? He's the cook there. Well, I heard he got the so-called plague. Patient Zero, they're calling him. And he only lost a finger. What a hoax. And I know the nobles keep saying there's catacombs full of dead bodies down in France. But until I see those bodies myself, I'm just gonna have to say they're full of it. And if that's not enough, the king put out a decree yesterday saying that all subjects have to wear facial coverings made of cloth now so we don't spread the plague. What a bunch of nonsense. Could you imagine all the fine citizens of London walking around like a bunch of Russians with face coverings? Not that there's anything wrong with Russians. I'm very pro-Russian. And if that wasn't enough, the king is also sending out tons of money, shillings upon shillings to all of the subjects to fix the broken economy. Could you imagine? I mean, how am I supposed to keep all my servants if the king is just going to pay them for free? Pay them more? Don't be hysterical. How am I supposed to live out the rest of my days in fine luxury while my workers work terrible hours for awful wages if I start paying them more? You're hysterical, Charles. And if that wasn't enough, all of the people, all of these subjects are walking around the streets complaining as if they haven't got everything in the world. They're out there chanting, we shouldn't have to work terrible hours for awful wages just because we weren't born in the right family. Whatever that means. You know, I bet if they started a business right now, instead of their mockery, that they would be able to one day have their grandchildren be as rich as what we were born into. But no, they just parade up and down all through London to Paris. And have you seen what the Paris doctors are wearing now? Big masks with these giant black beaks walking around giving these newfangled medicines to these so-called sick. And you know what I say, Charles? If it can't be fixed by a good leeching, it must not be worth a bother. And I just can't believe... Charles, where are you going? Oh, it's just a cough. Don't be hysterical. No need for your hysterics. Well, fine then. Oh, I just knew you were a sheep. What a mess. Makes me wish old King George I was still king. He would have made Britain great again. Thank you.